Your little project is going to be a big project.
Rooster, 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 rooster.
I just think that we need to come to terms with the fact that we can't keep roosters.
Basically, I think the hardest thing is going to be to try to convince James.
He's just giving me more and more projects to do.
Unfortunately, what we did with these first chicks that we hatched out was a total rookie move. And now James has to live with the consequences of that. I think who's suffering the most here is the chickens. We gotta figure out a creative way to deal with this. So much snow. It snowed again last night. This is just crazy. We are quite literally living in a winter wonderland here. Everything is stuck, and James has been plowing nonstop for I don't even know how many days. The dogs are good. Jojo is great in this weather. The little dogs got out a couple times because James plowed the crown, as you saw. And the temperatures actually warmed up a little bit too, so they were able to go for an actual walk, which was awesome. But I think who's suffering the most here is the chickens. They had, up until yesterday, they had been cooped up in this house. There's 20 birds for 5 or 6 days straight, meaning the hatch wasn't open. They didn't see the light of day. They have a light, but there was no sunlight. They didn't get any vitamin D. They didn't get any fresh air. They didn't dust bathe. All I did was bring them treats and goodies all day and came and visited them and made sure everybody was keeping the peace. And yeah, they did it. They've been awesome. I'm going to take you in there in a second and show you what's going on. Yesterday, like I said, it had warmed up a little bit, so I shoveled in the backyard coop. I shoveled a little path, so they have sort of like a little loop to cruise around in, just more space, and laid hay down. And the bunnies really enjoyed that, actually, especially while I was shoveling it. They were following me around. It was really cute. And then for the dust bathing purposes, under the covered area on the other side of the coop here that James and I built, that's the only dry area that has dirt. And that is typically where they do dust bathe, but it was covered in hay. So removed all the hay off to the side and then used it for the pathways and kicked up dirt under there so that they could get in there and get some dust bathing done, which they did, which made me very happy. I know, honey. I know, Frank. Frankie's very mouthy this morning. She always is. Yeah, so they all came out yesterday, which was amazing. They even roosted outside in the covered area, dust bathed, like I said, had lots of snacks, moved around, got some fresh air. Made me really happy. While they were doing that, I also did a coop clean because there's so much droppings and poop in there when they're all in there for all day. They're not doing their droppings outside. They're solely doing it inside. So the coop gets dirty really quickly. So cleared everything out and put in new shavings and all that yesterday too, which was awesome. Now the big problem, issue, whatever you want to call it, we knew was coming, is sort of creeping closer. So that is the issue of too many roosters again. As most of you know, we hatched out 10 chicks this fall. Ended up with 6 roosters, 4 from the second batch and 2 from the first batch, and 4 hens. So our numbers are very skewed, and it's starting to look like Poke, our original rooster, is not going to be cool with having another rooster. buddy around? That's James.
I don't want to go back there without diesel.
Huh?
I gotta get diesel.
Oh, I thought you said an eagle.
Diesel. I need
Eagle.
diesel.
Okay, bye. You got Jojo?
No, it's a good bag. And
Oh, okay. James is going to get diesel. Oops. We have 6 roosters. 2 are almost completely grown up. 1 is already crowing, and then 4 little roosters that are gonna, and within the next couple of weeks, they're all gonna be cockadoodle doing and trying to figure out who their ladies are, and it's just gonna be a mess. So I am really having a hard time trying to figure out what to do. We have a neighbor that would be willing to take the roosters once they've grown up and put a little bit of meat on for the soup pot, which it's not ideal, but it's, I think, a little bit more humane than just killing them and throwing them in the garbage. So that's one option. I've been talking to James. James and I have our morning coffees in here every day, which is kind of funny because it totally smells really bad in here most of the time. And we discuss things. And the topic of discussion lately has been what we're going to do with these roosters. So unfortunately, I've become extremely attached to 2 of them. They're the first 2 that were hatched out. So it's Rod, and he's Poke's doppelganger, and then Dusty, who's a gray rooster. I thought that she was a hen all the way until she started getting her saddle feathers, and it was just obvious that she was then a he and a rooster. He is a gorgeous, gorgeous bird. So tame. He lets me hold him. He doesn't even want me to put him down. Like, out of all of them so far, I'd say that Dusty and Rod are going to be the hardest ones for me to have to give up. So I'm racking my brain and I'm trying to figure out if there's a way that we could do something to keep these birds perhaps separate. I have heard of people having just like rooster, I think they call it like stud houses or something, where it's just all roosters living in one coop and separate from another flock. There isn't the option for me to try to give them away. Like, I'll definitely will put a post on Facebook and Instagram and whatnot to see if anybody wants one, but it's really hard to give away a rooster. Nobody wants roosters. But I just feel like it's not right to just kill these birds because they're roosters. Like, I understand that they fight and it's territorial and there's all these things that come with it. So I understand that you can't keep them together unless you have enough hens to service all of them. But I just don't feel like it's fair for these beautiful birds to die just because I can't come up with a way to have them coexist peacefully. So if anybody out there knows what I'm talking about, knows anybody who's been through this situation. Now, we've already been through this situation. We've already had too many roosters. The first batch of chickens we had, they fought. We ended up killing 2 of them and keeping Poke. So that's how that went down. This time, I don't necessarily want to do that. If I have to do that, I will, but I don't want to do that. I want to try to come up with a creative solution to keep even 2 of the roosters separate, like I said, and eventually get more hens, and then we can introduce that. We can get more hens from Cindy at Frustrated Farmers or something like that, so we have enough hens to service potentially 3 roosters. And then by plucking out the roosters and having them in a separate spot, we're able to weed out which ones are the best roosters and keep them. I just don't want to massacre all of them. So if you have any suggestions, if you have any links to send me, drop it in the comments below. I really appreciate it. I've been doing my research as always. And basically, I think the hardest thing is going to be to try to convince James to build another structure because, truth be told, we're already, the next big project that we have after this greenhouse is done is a new coop, and it's going to be like an amazing coop. So when we do that coop, we can certainly have the two separate areas, but right now we just need sort of like a lipstick on a pig kind of a situation, like just something really temporary and secure that we can keep these roosters, so that just because we're not ready to keep them, they don't have to die. Anyway, totally rambled on and ranted. My poor chickens are just waiting for me. So come on in. I'm going to show you what they're doing right now, and then we're going to go out in the back and try to get them outside again. Hey y'all. I just did a big rant about you. I wanted to show everybody how you've been coexisting through this massive snow cold snap situation we got going on. All right, so coop's pretty clean, which is awesome. There's Poke, the main man, some of his hens, and honestly what they've been primarily doing is just sitting up here on the roost, chilling, being bored, not cleaning themselves, not laying any eggs. Yeah, just certainly not ideal. So I'd like to take, oh, we got an eggie in there. Nice. Hi, friends. So rooster, 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 rooster over there, which you can't see. He's a mini rooster. That's mini. We called him Rex because he was big at one point, but everybody outgrew him. He's mini Rex. Yeah, so rooster, this is Brindle. That's who hatched out all the roosters. Brindle. Oh, your feet are so soft, honey. Rooster, this is Betty. She's one of the hens that we were lucky enough to get. Why are you so skinny, girl? White chickens are wily, by the way. Rooster, this is Rex. No, this is Rod. Roddy, turn around, bud. Turn around, Roddy. Show yourself. Come on, baby. And this is Dusty, who I was talking about. The beautiful, beautiful. I'm not going to lie, she's my favorite. I keep calling her she because tried to trick myself into thinking that she was a hen, but she is not. So these two right now are my favorite. I cannot think about letting these two go. Like, I can't even fathom it. They're the reason I'm considering doing all the things that I just talked about. They're really nice birds. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with them, and I just feel that it is so unfair to just kill them because they're roosters. So we gotta figure out a creative way to deal with this. Oh, there's 2 eggs. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna get them outside. You guys ready? Shpeggies. You ready? Apparently I can't drink coffee and walk at the same time today. Where are we going?
We're gonna try to find a spot for a not so temporary coop, because it's not gonna be temporary in your paintball land here.
And how do you feel about that?
I
For
mean,
real?
I just think that we need to come to terms with the fact that we can't keep roosters. But you love animals so much, you don't think it's fair. Which is why I love you. Except for you're just giving me more and more projects to do.
Can you hold the camera and I'll say my piece? I would just like to say for the record that I want to have a larger flock. Therefore, we are going to need more roosters than just Poke. Also, Poke is getting on in age. He maybe has 2 to 3 years left in him. And unfortunately, what we did with these first chicks that we hatched out was a total rookie move, meaning we allowed 2 of the roosters, maybe more, but 2 for sure, to grow up longer than we should have, which in turn made me attached. And now James has to live with the consequences of that.
Yeah.
So my plan...
I just don't want to build a junky structure.
He doesn't want to build a junky.
We are building a new coop in the spring.
But that's not going to be soon enough because these roosters are going to start killing each other like any day now. So should we talk about what my plan is now or should we go look?
Let's go look.
Okay. Whole spiel yesterday.
Okay, so you guys have seen our current coop with our little shanty roof added on. So this is a great spot for our coop, and this is where the new coop is going to go. I think I'm going to have to lose this big tree here though, unfortunately, so we can actually make the other coop.
They're eating my straw.
They're eating your broom.
They're eating my broom. You little buggers.
There's just not like, I can literally build you like an 8 by 12 and it'll have to go this way. Eight by 12.
Does that mean that doesn't mean you have to cut this tree down right now, does it?
No.
But when we build the big coop, we do.
Well, I think so. Or I just build a tiny little one that's like 4 by 8. And then it's easy to move out of there. The other challenge we're going to have is when we build the new coop, everyone's going to need a spot to go into.
Yeah, but remember my plan?
Which one?
The one the one where we let the new chicks grow up with the 2 roosters in here.
I know that, but we have a bigger problem when we tear this down. They need a place to stay, everybody. Because I'm not going to just like do that thing where you snap and it's done in a day. It's going to take a little bit.
Yeah,
I want to do a concrete slab.
I know. But yeah, like if we're gonna...
They're going to be a little bit distraught. So I think we need to have the coop built before we expand the flock. It's going to be so much more to manage. It'll be very challenging. Your little project is going to be a big project. I have all the materials for a bunch of it that we can use, except for plywood and maybe some roofing. I don't know how much roofing stuff I have. Everything's covered in snow. So as far as things, so you're okay with it then? You're going to be over at this tree. We can work off that tree on a corner. If it's like 8 feet this direction, 12 feet towards us. It's going to be more hidden in here. What? Why you gotta look so smart about it?
How long do you think it's going to take?
I'm gonna deal with the snow on the rammed earth and in front. First, I have to deal with getting snow off all the materials.
Do you want me to do that?
You can help, but let's go in there again. I guess we should just go in there and see, and we can make a couple marks as to how big I think it can be.
Okay.
Let's measure this one. This one's like 12 by 12, I'm sure. Close to that.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be any bigger than that one.
It's not going to be that big.
Good.